Fourth grade into math, lesson 8.3, relate area models and partial products. I can use area models and partial products to multiply two-digit numbers. Spark your learning. A stained glass artist explains that the purpose of stained glass windows is to control light or tell a story. They contain pieces of colorful glass arranged in patterns or pictures held together and formed by strips of lead. How many different multiplication problems can you write using the measures of these glass pieces? Okay, so we have these stained glass pieces over here. To find the area of something, what is the formula for area? Area equals what? Equals height times width, right? Okay, so what is the area of that first, the big red one? 10. 10 times what? 10 equals 100, right? What about the yellowish green one? 3 times 10, because I bring this together and this together, right? So 3 times 10 is what? 30. What's the small red one? 3 times 10. I bring these two together. 3 times 10 equals 30. And then I bring these two together for the purple, and that would be, which equals 9. Okay. Now, what if I wanted to do the big whole piece of stained glass? What would that be? So this side would be 10 plus 3, which is what? 13 times what? By 13. Okay. And then we know our 12s, right? Okay. But we haven't done our 13s yet. But we could also set it like this. 3 times 3 is what? 9. 3 times 1 is 3. Cross off the 3. What place value am I now moving to? I moved from the 1s to the 10s. So I'm going to put a 0 here to hold my spot so I can move to the 10 spot. And then I plug that 1 through just like I just did the 3. Okay? So 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 1 is 1. So 9, 6, 1. So 169. So learner standing number 1. In Dr. Bruce Brewer's art class, students will be making 15 rag rugs. Each rug uses 14 yards of fabric. How many yards of fabric will be needed to make all the rag rugs? How can you find the number of yards of fabric needed? So what is, we need to fill out our information, right? 15 and 14. And then how many yards of fabric will be needed? So what is going to be our equation, guys? 15 times 14, right, equals y for the number of yards. Okay, how can you use an area model to represent the problem? So on the other side, our stained glass was kind of like an area model. Okay, so let's make a box and break it into 4 squares. Sorry. Now let's break it apart. 15. What can we do? What's in the 10 spot? 1, right? So could we do 10 and 5? So 10 plus 5 is 15, right? Does that work? Yeah. Okay. What can we do for 14? Break it into what's in the 10 spot? 10, 1 10, and 4 1s, right? Okay. Now, I just showed you, you bring these together, right? So that first box would be 10 times 10, right? So 10 times 10 equals what? 100. Okay, this box would be what? 10 times 5, which equals 50. Now, as I'm writing these, I need to do a better job of keeping them in line. Okay, so do you see how I kept that better in line instead of just kind of slopping it on there? Okay, this box I would take what? 10 times 4. So 10 times 4 equals 40. And then this box over here would be what? 5 times 4, which equals 40. Okay, how can you write multiplication equations to find the partial product? So did we do that? So we pulled it apart and found more partial or more smaller pieces, right? Okay, and then what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do with this partial product? Add together. Okay, I'm gonna draw a line there. So 0, what's 5 plus 4 plus 2?
5 plus
11. 1 plus 1 is 2. So 210 yards of fabric will be needed to make the rag rugs. Step it out. Number 2. In the storage closet, there are 17 different types of paintbrushes with 23 of each type. How many paintbrushes are there? So they want us to break these apart into the 10s and the 1s. So what do we have in the 10 spot for 17? 110, right? So 10. What do we have in the 1 spot? How many ones? 7. Okay. 23. How many do we have in the 10 spot? 2 10s, so 20, right? How many do we have in the 1 spot? 3. Okay. So now what they want us to do is they want us to fill this in. So we said 10 and 7, right? We said 20 and 3. Okay. So use the distributive property to find the partial product. So they already did this one for us of 10 times 20, right? Okay. What would this one be? 10 times 3. So 10 times 3. All right. This one would be what? 7 times. Nope, I bring it together. 7 and 20, right? So 7 times 20. Okay. And then the little pinkish red box is what? 7 times 3, right? Because I bring those boxes together. So 7 times 3. Okay, let's figure out what those are. So put my 1 in a box, my 2 in a box. What is 1 times 2? 2, and add 2 zeros. So 10 times 20 would be 200. Okay, now the yellow box, 10 times 3 is 30. And then the purplish colored box, put my 2 in a box. 7 times 2 is 14, and add a 0, so 140. And then 7 times 3 is 21. So then I'm going to add those together. So over here, I'm going to do my place values to help me keep in line. So 1, what's 4 plus 3 plus 2? 9, 3, or 2 plus 1 is 3. So 391. So there are 391 paintbrushes in the storage closet. Check, understand, and complete the area model. Find the product. So what are we going to break 13 into? 10 and 3. And then 16 we're going to break into 10 and 6. Okay. So in the first box, we're going to take 10 times 10 and get what? 100. What am I doing in the next box to the right? 10 times 3, which equals what? 30. What about this bottom left box? 10 times 6. And what is that? 60. And then in the bottom right box, I'm going to take equals 18. Okay. Then what do I need to do with all of those partial products? I need to keep everything in line with place value and add them together. So 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 8 is 6 plus 3 plus 1 is 10. Put the 0, carry the 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. So 208. So I got partial products in my boxes. Then I used those partial products and kept them in line and added them together. On your own, number 2, model with mathematics. Complete the area model. Write and solve an equation for the area model. So they were super nice and already broke those apart for us. So what was our original numbers? 28 and
26.
26, right? Okay, so what do I do for the pinkish colored box?
20 times 20.
Or orangish, I guess. So 20 times 20. Put my 2's in a box. 2 times 2 is 4, and add 2 zeros. What do I do for the greenish colored box? 20 times 8. Put my 2 in a box. 2 times 8 is, and add a 0. What about the purplish box? 20 times 6. Put my 2 in a box. 2 times 6 is 12, and add a 0. Then my, what is that? Oh, so the one with like blue and this was a little purple. Okay, so 6 times 8 is 48. Now what do I need to do? So I got partial products, right? Okay, and then I need to add those partial products together. So 400, keep my place values in line, 160, 120, and 48. So 0 plus 0 plus 0 is, plus 8 is 6, plus 4 is 10, plus 2 is 12, create the 1. 1 plus 4 plus 1 plus 1 is 7. So our original numbers were 28 times what? 26 got us 728. Number 3, reason. There are 22 students in Mrs. Taylor's 4th grade class. Each student is asked to bring 15 pencils at the beginning of the school year. How can you determine how many pencils the class will have as the new school year begins? So let's put our information. 22 students, 15 pencils. What do I need to do?
22 times 15.
What do I need? We are going to take 22 times 15. That's our problem. Make our box. Okay. So you guys make it over here. I'm going to draw over here. How many squares? 4. What are we going to break 22 into? 20 and 2. What about 15? 10 and 5, right? Okay, so for the upper left-hand box, what am I going to write? 20 times 10 equals, so put my 2 in a box, put my 1 in a box. 2 times 1 is 2, and add 2 zeros. Upper right-hand box, what am I going to put? 10 times 2, which equals 20. Okay. Lower left-hand box, 20 times 5 or 5 times 20. Put my 2 in a box. 2 times 5 is 10, and add a 0. And then what am I going to put in my lower right-hand box? 5 times 2 equals 10. All right, so then we add our partial products together. So 200 plus what? 100 plus 20 plus 10. So 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 2 plus 1 is 3. 2 plus 1 is, so our answer would be 330 pencils. Okay, so you guys are going to do 4 and 5 with a partner. I'm going to check them. After I check them, you do your homework assignment on your own, okay?